Hey you, welcome back to class. Are you ready to create something? Let's turn fabric into fashion. Grab your scissors and let's get started. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new upload.
Cut your hip pad, okay? Sorry, tip. So usually, if you are doing this for a skirt, you mark your waist to hip. So some people's waist to hip is 10. Some people's so this is the main borderline. So some people's waist to hip now, we give it 10. Some people's waist to hip is 8. Some people's waist to hip is 9. And then your waist to knee, but you come up by 2 inches before your knee. Okay, so for this one now, let's say you want to cut standard for waist to hip of 9, then knee 17. So that means probably the knee was already 20, but see, 19, I came up by 2 inches because I don't want it to be too long down. Okay, so that's just what we're trying to get. But since what we're doing is a dress, it's not a skirt. Do you get what I mean? What we're trying to do is to put hip pad inside of a dress. So see now, I'm placing it on top. See, it's almost exactly the same thing. This is our knee. These are knee measurements. And this is our hip. This is our waist. So I think that is very similar to what I was explaining. So now for the front panel, that's the part that is going to be in the front. So I want us to have like a straight line. So for here, you use our princess. What's our princess? That's a nipple to nipple. So our nipple to nipple is 8. Okay, so we're going to use half of that, which will give us 4. So if you are using 4 here, you add 1.5 here. Okay, then you come here by 3. So you are removing 1 from there. So what you now have is something like this. Okay, are you seeing that? This is the front part of the hip padding. So you place the shape here. Now remember, we already marked here already, so this is straight line. So what we want to do now, I want to create the shape. That's the side that we're going to sew on the hip. So you just place it, you go a little bit above. Okay, so go up by like half an inch. Are you seeing the way it is? So let the hip point be on the straight line. Then you cut it according to it. You notch the hip parts. Okay, so that's it down. So you connect here. Okay, so now you use this now to cut the back. Please pass me pins. So you just pin together. You pin here, pin here. So now this is our hip line, remember? So now what you want to create now is something that will look like a pear shape here. Okay, so you can come out here by 2 or 2.5. Let's use like 2.5. Then you go here. I see what I want to do. This is the hip part. So you want to create a pear shape, so it will go round, then from here it will come in and go like this. So what we're trying to create is something like this. Do you understand? Are you understanding? So now just cut it out. So for this front now, you just create a curve so it will look smooth and not be too edgy. Okay, this side too, you just want it to look smooth, like as though it's blending in and not be like a square. So this is your front, this is your back. So depending on the person's bust, hip side, you can increase it. So let me show you what I mean now. When we place this is the skirt, this is the inner skirt. Okay, so when we place this, it will be like this here. Are you seeing? So you see that it's very close to the butt. So whatever you're doing, don't let it be close to like your hip, your zipper allowance. Okay, so now let's say we've taken the measurements, because these are where we marked as our measurements. These are marked for the measurement of the waist. So if we're placing this here now, after joining, can you see that it's very close to the zipper allowance? Okay, so this is what we're trying to avoid. That's why we used 2.5, but you see I still went in with almost like 0.75. so that it can either be this 2.5, or you can also do as well to add 0.75, but always cross check that your hip padding is not going into your zip. Okay, so it should always be next to your zip, so as to give a more natural look. Okay, so it's the same thing with it being towards the knee. Okay, so it should come up a bit from the knee, so it doesn't go and enter the knee and look very, very unnatural. That's what we are trying to achieve. So now you just go ahead and place this on your foam. So we're working with 1/2 inch. Okay, this foam is like 1/2 inches. Pass me that one. Sorry. So this is the difference between 1 inch and 1/2 inch. Okay, so this one will always make it look very, very exaggerated. Okay, so you don't want this. You want to achieve like a very smooth effect. So now go ahead and place the first pattern on top of this. Let's see. So when it comes to foam, there's no wrong side. You can position it anyhow you want. So cut this one first. So the foam is on fold. Okay, the foam is on fold. So this is your hip side, and this is the side that you will join together with the back panel. Okay, so just go ahead and notch it. Now I will pin this side on it as well. So if I was working with the 1-inch foam, if I was working with the 1-inch foam, I would do what they call shedding. Okay, so I'll shed the sides so that it can flatten a bit. So that I can flatten a bit and blend. It's more like blending as well. Okay, so we're just going to keep this panel and I will use it when we are working. So this is what we have now. Okay, but now we need to indicate the side that is the up. So from this you can tell that the wider side is the up, the slimmer side is the down for the back panel. But now for this front panel you can't really tell, so that's why you are keeping your pattern until you are done. So if you remember, so this is how we have it. Okay, so now I'm just going to indicate where is the top and where is the bottom. So I'm notching it here again. This is the top. Okay, so that's how you know, so that you don't flip it. Okay, so now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and use our cotton stay. You can either use cotton stay or you use nylon stay. Okay, your interface, just to wrap this in. So you wrap them individually like this, 1, 2. Okay, you wrap it. So we're using black because we're working with a dark color. If we're working with a light color, we'll use white. So let's go and iron. So this is 1 yard of nylon SD. So you can use cotton SD as well. That just gives little gaps in between. Just flipping it the other way around, just like that. cover it and to iron. So just make sure that the nylon stay is not pressing the edge to reduce the length. Make sure they're all So I'm looking at it now, and this is the side that has the notching for the front panel. We're cutting it out, but then we're leaving like half an inch or so round about it, because you don't want it to be the exact. So I'm notching this part. So this is indicating that this is the front side, this is the top, and this is the bottom. Then I'm also notching the part that indicates where we'll join, that's the hip line. Okay, do the same thing for this side. You notch the up, indicating the top from the bottom, and then you notch the part that is the hip part. Now you can join that to the back panel. Doing the same thing for here. For this one, we already know where is up and where is down because of the pear-shaped bottom. Then just need to indicate where the hip, this is now the hip side. So when you are done shaping everything out, you still go in with your iron to press individually again. Okay, because what we did was to press together, but if you notice, you see some parts that are still open, and you don't want that. You want everything sealed together like bread and bam. Okay, so you press. Now I'm concentrating more on the edge. Okay, so due to the weight of the iron, if you notice, it's giving like a crescent. Okay, so as if it's going from high to low. So that's why there's no need for me to shed the sides to be flat. Okay, so I'm concentrating on the edge and I'm pressing so it will give me, if you can see from here, you can see that it's high low. You can see the difference from this side and this side and this side. So you are seeing that it's crescenting down. So that's what we're trying to achieve. So you're going to do that all around. So to achieve this, some people shed off the sides, and some people also run stitches round. Okay, some people run stitches round, like 3 lines, so go round it 3 times. Okay, but I prefer to do this because it's foam, so at the end of the day it will still compress. Okay, so I'm pressing both back and front to give, and this is what it now looks like. So the edges are very flat and the center is thicker than the edge. Okay, so I'm going to do this for the remaining 3 panels, them like this now. So when you are joining, you want to also be careful that you are not joining both sides the same. So you have this pattern, this is the up, So from this one, remember that this is where we notch, so this is the up. So you are placing it like this, okay? It's going to be like this, because now this upper part is the upper bum bum and this is the lower part. So this is one, okay? So you want to make sure that the second one, you're not placing it the same way, okay? You're going to flip it. So lifting up this first one now, we're seeing this now, okay? So we have this like this, sorry, like this. So you don't want to create the same thing. Instead, you are going to flip it this way, okay? Then you place this second one on top of it. So you're going to have them opposite sides like this, so that when you join, you're going to have the left and the right, okay? If you flip it to be the same way, if you do the same thing, that means you're having two right sides or two left sides. So you want to make sure you do not do that. Okay, so what we have now is going to be one facing this way, one facing this way. Then we'll now go ahead and join. So you are joining by what? Standard joining, half an inch. Okay, so I'm using the color, thread color of the, some things are fancy, of the fabric. This is what you should have for number one. Okay, so you join the next one. Okay, so when you flip it, this is the upper part of one, this is the upper part of the other. So you're going to insert them this way on your outfit. So let's go ahead and do the inserting. Outfits that requires an interface. So this is our lining, our interface, and this is the main fabric, which is the lace. So we're going to be sewing the hip pad to the interface, okay, so that it doesn't show outside. That's the whole idea, okay, for it to look invincible. So now we're going to find the part that we notched, which was our hip part, and now we're going to fix it in and sew it. So remember when we were cutting, we came down from the waist by like half an inch, right? Okay, so now you're going to align the notching of the hip part with the notching of the hip part on your fabric, and you're just going to pin them together. So you have it looking like this. So remember, this is the upper part, this is the lower part, okay, and this is the front, this is the back. So you are going to place it that same way. This is the back, this is zipper allowance, okay, so the back will rest on the back, and then this is the front, it will rest on the front part, okay. So I'm just going to go ahead. First of all, you're going to sew the center line. That's, you're going to join it on the hip line like this all the way through, okay. So if you see, you realize the 1/2 inch that was left for joining to the upper part. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and run through it in the center. Alright, so now I'm just going to sew the center line. So you are ensuring that the center is exactly on the joining of your main fabric. That's the lining of your main fabric, okay? The side seam. So we're sewing it exactly on that point. Okay. I'm separating the joining of the foam. Making sure that it's not picking on any other part. So I've gotten to the lower part now. So if you see, it's very close to the seam joining on the side. So now I'm just going to lift up my footer and I'm going to stitch on it so it doesn't move. Okay, so right now it's not together, so I want to sew it and attach it so it will be one with the fabric. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and start sewing. You want to ensure that it doesn't have any space here. Okay, everything is equal and flat. Okay, make sure it's not bulging or you don't have to like pleat the fabric or anything. You should just flat. So spreading it out and sewing at the edge. So I'm sewing at the edge of the foam, not the extra allowance of the stay. So make sure you're sewing on the foam. Okay, so we are come to the end. Like, okay, then this is how the inside should be. So you do the same thing for the other side. Let's turn it out. So sewing it in between the lining and the fabric. So this is how it will be at the end of the day. Okay, and this is what the inside would look like, very neat, as you can see. Then the in between. Okay, so you want to fix your hip pad in between. You go ahead and do the same thing for the second side, and that's all.
That's it for today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and sew with love. Till next time. Bye.